The Montana Grizzlies have fought tirelessly all season, overcoming every obstacle in their path. Now they stand just one win away from capturing the ultimate prize, the national championship. MTN Sports welcomes you to the Montana Grizzlies Championship Preview Show. Stay tuned as we get you ready for tomorrow's big game.
From Toyota Stadium here in Frisco, Texas, welcome to our National Championship Preview Show as we get ready for the big National Championship game between the Montana Grizzlies and the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. I'm Jay Cohn, joined by MTN Grizz insider Kyle Hansen.
It's great to be here, and over the next half hour, we will get you prepped for this year's National Championship game. And Jay, we're going to catch up with former coaches and players and also introduce everyone to this year's squad.
Well, we've got the #1 and the #2 teams in the nation as they get ready to take the stage. You know, both teams, Kyle, virtual mirror images of each other, rock solid on defense, and obviously can move the ball and score on offense.
Absolutely. It's strength against strength in this year's National Championship. As players and coaches filed into Toyota Stadium on Friday, the reality of Sunday's championship tilt heightened with every interview as game day inches near.
It didn't really set in that we were playing in the national championship until we walked off the plane and started practicing here in Frisco. It's been a great experience so far. Everything we've done has been working towards playing in this national championship. I think everyone's pretty locked in. Everyone's focused on trying to win this sucker.
On the Grizzlies side, Montana is here for the first time in 14 years and first time in Frisco. The lights are brighter than ever, but the Grizz are making sure they aren't fazed by the stakes, the outside noise, or the task in front of them.
We know when to have fun and we know when to lock in. At all times, we're always thinking about the game, of course, but like in our free time, we're really trying to just enjoy each other, trying to love on each other, you know, as teammates. And then when it's practice, walkthroughs, and all that, we know what we got to do, and we're all locked in.
This is really my first time experiencing something like this. I would kind of equate it to coming off of a bye week. You know, with the bye week, you have some extra prep, but anytime you get the chance to practice more, to watch more film, to do everything you can to prepare for your next opponent, it's a plus.
On the flip side, South Dakota State has been here before with 2 championship game appearances since the spring of 2021. They know exactly how to approach a game like this and win, and so it's about replicating it once again.
Kind of workmanlike. You know, that first time you're kind of like getting led around like a herd of sheep. You don't really know what's going on. It's definitely been, a blessing to be here a couple times and, get the feel of it down.
That's why so many of their key players came back, was to win and keep the Jackrabbits at the top.
We all came back for a reason, and I think we kind of knew what that was. And we all came back just because we care so much about each other. So, at the end of the day, it's about winning. It's about, getting another national championship. Coming back for this last year with my brothers, it's regardless of how this game turns out, it was always worth it to me.
But they know the thrill of victory as well as the agony of defeat in title games. And for SDSU head coach Jimmy Rogers, he remembers both equally for different reasons.
It's not so much winning, it's not letting people down. A lot of the players that I've had the opportunity to coach, that's what maybe fuels me more than the hype of a championship. It's making sure everybody gets the most out of their God-given ability to be at their best and end on the right note. And this senior group means the world to me.
Grizz head coach Bobby Houck has been to 3 of these before and lost each one. But now Montana is back, and they're going to need their sharpest performance to get the Grizzlies back at the pinnacle of the FCS.
When you get to this game, the team on the other side's always good. As simple as it may sound, both teams are good football teams. You have to go play well to win the game. If you don't play well, there's no way you're going to win it. So you have to go play well and get a couple of breaks, and that's the way it goes.
This championship game features some of the best players in FCS football. We'll shine the spotlight on them.
Plus, we take a look back at where it all started for one of the Grizzlies' best offensive weapons.
Montana Grizzlies Championship Preview Show is sponsored by Allegiance Benefit Plan Management. Your benefits at work.
You will find all conference players up and down the roster for both the Grizzlies and the Jackrabbits. MTN's Carter Culver brings us a closer look.
We are officially less than 24 hours away from the Montana Grizzlies taking on the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. And as the final hours wind down, here are a few of the key players that the Grizz will look to lean on as they hope to claim their third national championship in program history.
First and foremost, it is the star of the playoffs so far for the Grizz, Junior Bergen. With 3 touchdowns in the return game across their quarterfinal and semifinal matchups, the home state hero from Billings seems to only shine brighter the bigger the stage gets. And the Grizz will hope he can do it one more time and somehow etch his name deeper into Montana's record books. Offensively, it all comes down to Clifton McDowell. The transfer quarterback and Texas native has been absolutely electric for the Grizz since being named the full-time starter back in late September, scorching opposing defenses both in the air and on the ground to the tune of 1,800 passing yards, 750 rushing yards, and 22 total touchdowns. The dual threat quarterback will need to be nothing short of perfect against the stellar Jackrabbit defense as he returns to his home state for the biggest game of his life. On the other side of the ball, Montana will look to lean on Braxton Hill as they have all year long. The Anaconda native and defensive captain has led a blitz-heavy linebacking corps and leads the team with 116 tackles. He and the rest of the Grizz defense will have their hands full, tasked with corralling a Jackrabbit offense that has averaged almost 40 points per game this year. While heading into the championship game, those 3 will undoubtedly have more eyes on them than most. Yet, it is anyone's guess who will shine on the big stage and potentially give the performance that could make the difference between the sweet taste of victory or the agony of defeat, and only time will tell. In Frisco, Carter Culver, MTN Sports.
Junior Bergen's football career was launched back at Billings Senior High School. MTN's Brandon Sullivan captured his breakout season in this report.
Any of the great kids that we've had that have come through senior and gone on to play college football, the number one thing I would say about them is that they all love football, and nobody loves football as much as Junior does. When he's out there, he understands he's just one of 11, and whether that's in practice, in the locker room, during games, he knows he's out there to fulfill his role, and he's really good at leading his teammates, encouraging his teammates. And the other thing that I would say about Junior is he is hyper-focused.
Growing up, I just always played football. I've always been around it, so I kind of know what's going on, what to expect. There's some things that just happen, and I kind of see it happening early. Like the game just slows down for me out there. I'm really fortunate for that to happen to me.
When we needed him to make a play against West High, and he just flat out had it in his mind that he was gonna, leave his heart on the field, and he broke 3 tackles, carried a 200-plus pound, really good football player for 4 yards, got away. That is a really great example of the true measures of the kind of football player he is.
I made some plays in that game. I felt were good plays, but ultimately you want to win those games, and if you could take away those plays and we win that game, then I'd be much happier.
One thing that's so great about football is it's a game of inches, in that if you're off by 1 inch against a good team, they're gonna make you pay for it. And when you got a guy like Junior Bergen, he will get the other 10 guys to do that extra inch that's gonna be the difference between winning and losing. You have to have guys like that.
Well, I think being a leader is kind of who you are when people aren't looking. You can't just be that guy who's, trying to be loud and yell at everyone. You got to put the work in when no one else is watching you. And I know all these guys, there's a lot of kids on this team that tell me, I look up to you, and I think that just motivates me and keeps me going, and try to stay as perfect as I can be.
Here's a kid that he's been a 2-time All-State corner. He's been a 2-time All-State receiver. It would have been easy for Junior to say, man, I don't want to add on this element of playing quarterback. I want to go out and play receiver and play corner. But he didn't do that at all. He just said, I just want to win a state championship. That's his sole focus. So for him, it was like, if you need me to play quarterback, that's what I'm going to do.
I just thankful I got to do it with all my best friends I've grown up with. And, it's going to be tough leaving this place, but everything has to come to an end.
I couldn't be more thankful for coaching him, and that's our #1 core value is gratitude. And that's what I think all our coaches would say, man, it's a blessing to have a kid like him.
All right.
We are deep in the heart of Texas football country here in Frisco, Texas, just north of Dallas, where they've been hosting the FCS championship game since 2010.
We'll show you around Frisco and introduce you to the man who's in charge of making this game happen.
Montana Grizzlies Championship Preview Show is sponsored by Allegiance Benefit Plan Management. Your benefits at work.
Frisco, Texas has a lot for all kinds of sports fans. In fact, it's called Sports City, USA. MTN's James Dobson went out and about to show us why.
Welcome to Frisco. It's called Sports City, USA for a very good reason. It's the home to the Dallas Stars, Dallas Cowboys, FC Dallas, and the National Soccer Hall of Fame. I'm at Frisco Square, less than a mile away from Toyota Stadium, and each night for the last several nights, the bars and restaurants here have been packed with sports fans. The Frisco bar was packed last night with Grizz fans, all clearly excited to spend time watching the game and spend money. Frisco's tourism department estimates that the FCS National Championship game will bring more than $10 million to the city this weekend. But Chuck Boltman, a Texan and Grizz player in the early 60s, says this game is a homecoming.
A lot of people came down, and there are a lot of Grizz fans here in the Dallas area.
It's also been very good for his family business.
My daughter put a sign in the window today, Grizz fans, and we had people walk in that were Grizz fans because they saw the sign.
Visit Frisco says that is exactly what they want to hear.
So I hope the fans from Missoula and Montana come down and realize that Frisco is a great place, and maybe it starts to be a second home for them.
Dill told me that the bars and the stadium have as much alcohol as the state of Texas will allow, and that in years past they've still sold out. For MTN Sports in Frisco, Texas, I'm James Dobson.
The FCS playoffs started with 24 teams in the mix. Now we're down just to the final two.
MTN's Tom Wiley caught up with Ty Halpin, the director of championships for the NCAA.
When the Montana football team made the FCS championship game, Grizzly fans were excited, but they also had a lot of questions. Why is the game held in Frisco, Texas? Why is it played on Sunday? And with all the upheaval in college athletics, will there still be an FCS title game to look forward to in the future? We had a chance to speak with the NCAA Director of Championships and Alliances about the past, present, and future of college football and the FCS championship game. Ty Halpin has worked for the NCAA for 25 years.
We have our warts, but boy, at the end we churn out a lot of great leaders, a lot of great people that end up becoming leaders in every community we have.
The NCAA claims that player and fan experience is at the top of their list of priorities. So does Frisco check all the boxes for a neutral site?
A couple of major airports, all the infrastructure here at Toyota Stadium is really fabulous and first class. Plenty of hotels, restaurants, everything you would want to go support your team.
The title game has been held in Frisco since 2010, and the current contract between the community and the NCAA runs through 2026 with an option for 2027. Halpin says other communities are interested. So does that mean the FCS title game could move again?
We will see in the near future what cities are interested in bidding. Certainly expect Frisco to be part of that. And they've been a great partner with us, so I don't anticipate that being discontinued, but we'll see what other cities are interested.
And why is the game held and broadcast on Sunday, going head-to-head with the NFL?
I think our committee has taken a stance that we feel like this weekend is the best for FCS football specifically. We had a lot of great years where we were the main window for football this weekend, and things change, unfortunately. So we'll see what the new contracts and where we fit into how much flexibility we have on weekends. we've looked at several options, and I'm not sure it's going to change anything that we're doing.
There's been an exodus of football teams making the jump from FCS to FBS. And while there's always speculation about schools like Montana or South Dakota State moving to larger conferences, Halpin believes many of the FCS powers are right where they need to be and doesn't see the drastic change on the horizon that many predict. We had a lot more questions for Halpin on the state of the FCS and the NCAA. For the full story, visit montanasports.com. In the meantime, with the Grizz here in Frisco, Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
The Grizzly football family lost one of the greats this past week. Don Reed, coach and athletic director of Montana, passed away at the age of 90.
Reed led the Grizz to their first national championship in 1995 and was instrumental in building the success of the program that we see today. Our thoughts are with his family as we salute Papa Bear, the great Don Reed.
Montana Grizzlies Championship Preview Show is sponsored by Allegiance Benefit Plan Management. Your benefits at work.
Well, following the dramatic playoff win over North Dakota State, we've had the chance to catch up with a number of former Montana players and coaches to get their thoughts on the recent run to the championship game.
And they share their excitement for the Grizz as they have their shot at bringing back the national championship for the first time since 2001.
Hey, now it's open, Montana boys, down with the boat. Good old Grizzlies, rock for the victory.
This is where we should be every year. I think for a little while there, our standards dropped, and it was, you know, you'd hear people, well, we made the playoffs, and sorry, that's not good enough around here. So we're back to where we need to be every year, you know, competing for a title.
I definitely could see this coming, that we're going to be able to turn this thing around and, you know, get back to what's expected of Montana football.
When you do get a chance to win a championship, whether it's in the conference or whether it was a national championship, it makes it a little bit special. And you remember the players, you remember their families, you remember just everything about them.
Run the ball, control the ball, and control the clock. And as the game started to go on, we could start to feel that you know, we had a chance at doing it.
No magic like formula for me, except that don't play scared, don't try to do anything more. I tell my guys, honestly, it's a football game. So show up, play aggressive though, play to make plays, don't play scared, and then support your teammates, make good decisions, take care of that football and see where it goes.
Whether you win this game or lose this game, you're going to remember it for the rest of your life. And unfortunately for me and my teammates, we are 0-2 in Chattanooga at the big game, and that absolutely guts me. You know, if I had a chance to talk to the team or whatever, I would tell these guys, go be the guy to make the first play. Don't wait for anybody else.
Winning's hard, losing's easy. Just ask those guys. So whether it's by 1 point, 3 points, 23 points, 33 points, 30, I mean, we'll take a W anytime.
Grizz Nation is all fired up with excitement for fans, coaches, and players.
You can feel the anticipation for kickoff. We're back with more in a moment.
Montana Grizzlies Championship Preview Show is sponsored by Allegiance Benefit Plan Management. Your benefits at work.
We're getting closer to kickoff. It has been a great run for the Grizz this year.
And MTN's Brandon Sullivan shows us some of the best shots from Grizz football in 2023.
And that's a wrap on this national championship preview show from Frisco, Texas.
Jay, I've had a chance to cover the Grizz all season long, and man, from the start of fall camp to now, they have earned their shot at this championship game.
It's the Montana Grizzlies and the South Dakota State Jackrabbits for all the marbles. The noon kickoff is set for this Sunday. Thanks for joining us and enjoy the game.
You've been watching the Grizz Championship Preview Show, a special presentation by MTN Sports. The Montana Grizzlies Championship Preview Show is sponsored by Allegiance Benefit Plan Management. Your benefits at work.